Runecrafting makes me sad. Runecrafting used to be the king of skilling. You used to make so much money with runecrafting, even close and comparable to some of the combat methods like Zulrah. You know, if you had a 99 runecrafting cape, people just assumed you were rich. And historically throughout RuneScape, it's been this way. I remember back in the day, people would be training runecrafting to be able to afford party hats, to be able to afford maxing an account with just one skill. The thing is though, a lot of people hated the skill. It was very repetitive. You just had to run back and forth from an altar and craft the runes, and that was pretty much the entire skill. Also, it was one of the slowest, if not the slowest skill in the entire game. It would be about 19 up to 25k experience per hour, even up into the high 90s. You would be getting these type of experience rates. There was always the ZMI, which was a little bit more, like 50-60k experience per hour, but most people wanted to make money out of the skill, so it would, cap out at about 20 to 25k XP an hour. Even with like ZMI rates and stuff like that, still 50 to 60k experience an hour is considered very slow, and it was always prestigious to have a 99 runecrafting cape. I mean, of course, people came up with other methods and having like lava runecrafting and spending 10 million GP per alt to run it for an hour, just some crazy stuff like that, but even then, like, it's still considered like a huge skill, like one of the most elite in the game to have 99. So pre-EOC, RuneScape releases this thing called the Rune Span, and I remember it, the day of release, everyone was going there, and it was just very confusing, right? You enter into this whole new universe where you basically just craft these fake runes for free, and you don't get to keep them. They kind of were just this weird currency that you could use in the Rune Span, but you didn't get too much outside of it. And I always thought this was such a stupid update because you made fake runes that didn't matter, and you got like crazy intense runecrafting experience for it being one of the most AFK things in the game. So pretty much with that update, runecrafting became one of the most AFK skills in the game. It still was maybe only 120k experience per hour back then, but it was no longer the most prestigious skill in the game. It was just an AFK skill, like similar to fishing. Now, with old school RuneScape, they didn't want to do anything this game-breaking, thank God, so we got the Zeah Runecrafting, which I really think this is a good update. So you can actually craft blood and soul runes here, and it's very AFK, but it still involves a bit of running like the traditional runecrafting does, and it's not super overpowered. It's up to 20 to 30k, 35k experience an hour with the blood runes, and then soul runes can get to like 40 to 45k experience per hour, but you're gonna make less money doing the souls versus the bloods, right? The good thing about this is you still make some money, and it still seems like traditional runecrafting. You're, getting your pure essence and basically running to the altar. It's just a lot less inventories per hour, and you don't need the nice little rune pouches here. So I thought this was a great update. You made a ton of money, and it just felt like traditional runecrafting, but a little bit more AFK, which is something the community really wanted. Update after update, the price of runes just starts crashing like crazy, and this happens over time, maybe certain updates, or is it just a ton of different bots? Guardians of the Rift had a huge impact on runecrafting as well, and this is another update that I actually did really enjoy and like a lot. There was a lot to the minigame or update, I guess you could say. It was basically like a mini game where, you had to kill a Rift Guardian, and to do so, you have to craft a whole bunch of different types of runes, but you got to keep those runes, not like the Rune Span. You actually got to keep these runes. So this made so many runes come into the game, which, obviously did crash the price of a lot of runes, but the barrier to entry was nothing with this. You need 27 runecrafting and to finish a very low level easy quest, and you get access to the minigame. What I think honestly happened is a ton of bots started running this Guardians of the Rift, getting themselves, say, to 77 runecrafting to craft blood runes and then botting the blood runes, and also maybe getting 91 and crafting double natures, or 95 and crafting wrath runes. And with all these bots coming into the game and doing so, obviously the price of runes are going to go down and down and down. Another thing that doesn't help the price of runes is lots of the bosses, the raids, and even some slayer tasks in the game will drop a ton of runes, which actually add up to be quite a bit over time. Just doing some TOA on my Ironman, I've gained thousands of different types of runes, like soul runes, death runes, even blood runes. It just adds up to be so much. Okay, so this is the past year of the blood rune. So this time last year, they were trading at 357 GP per rune, and the spike was 381 GP. And just look at this, ever since then, it's just continuously crashed. Here we're already looking at like almost half of the price, and it continuously goes down. Even some points here, 196. You can actually sell it to the shop alley in the desert for 200, so you could have profited a little bit there. And of course, they're stabling out to be about 200 GP per rune. They really can't go any lower than this. And it's almost the exact same story here with the nature rune. Remember, you could craft double nature rune, so you'd be almost making about 400 GP per pure essence here. And a continuous crash all the way down to about 86 GP per rune. 90 currently right now, which is just freaking so sad to see that decrease in just a year. And this is the Wrath rune as well. As you can see, almost 300 GP per rune, and just a continuous drop. They're about 192 right now, so they've, went down like a third in price. So this right here is actually my alt account, Tutorial Island to Twisted Bow, and I haven't played this account in about 6 months. I recently wanted to start it up again and get back into the grind, but it's just very demotivating. I was actually going for 99 runecrafting as an AFK thing to do about 6 months ago, but the price of the runes really demotivated me to actually play the account, because I would be training runecrafting for hours upon hours and just be losing money. So it was so demotivating, man. So I want to compare something like skilling to PVM, which is kind of a crazy thing, right? Like at the start of old school, they were kind of comparable. I mean, PVM has always been better than skilling, but comparable at least. Okay, so this is the wiki, and it's showing the best ways to make money with skilling. And as you can see, pickpocketing elves is about 2.4 million GP per hour, and that's the best thing. And that's only if you get lucky with the seeds, keep in mind, right? And then you go down the list, we got the sepulcher, I can't say that word, tanning, leather, pickpocketing again, crafting wrath runes, so this one's up there a little bit, crafting blood runes, and this is we're not using the AFK method, this is the hardcore running method, and you need 93 agility as well, so, not even 2 million GP per hour, and it just keeps going down and down. There's only a few, right, that make over 1 million GP per hour, and a lot of it's like degriming herbs. PVM is king, baby. So these are the best ways to make money with PVM. As you can see, 15 million GP, 14 million, 11, 7. Like there's so many different ways of actually just making so much money with combat. Now, obviously these are RNG based as well, but you keep going down the list here, like even just killing like Cerberus, like very easy things to do. You can make a lot of money. Now, why runecrafting used to be so important at the very start of old school RuneScape is because of the high alchemy spell, which brought GP into the game. Before we had these crazy intense bosses that dropped a ton of alchables, crafting and fletching the longbows and high alching them is how a lot of the GP came into the game at the very start. And it's probably how a lot of the gold is into the game today with the high alchemy spell. I can't imagine how rare GP would be without that, right? And it's crazy to think that runecrafting really doesn't have too much of an impact anymore compared to how it used to anyways, and we're just talking a year ago. Now, how could they save runecrafting or skilling in general? I think a huge part of the problem is the bots in the game. There's just so many bots running around this game all of the time, collecting resources and making them drop. Now, another thing would be fixing drop tables, like certain creatures dropping so much different resources into the game, like skilling resources and runes and stuff like that. But yet again, it wouldn't make the bosses maybe worth going to if they, nerfed all of the tables. And these bosses are great for Ironman accounts, and I love Ironman, so, that might not be the good option to do. But what I think might be able to fix skilling a little bit is introducing the sailing skill. Now, sailing could introduce new skilling items that maybe could make a little bit of money again, but how long would this be before they would just be a magic log or a shark, right? And then they would just drop in value as well. And I don't want sailing or new items to just completely destroy all of the other methods of content in the game. I always thought it would be really cool if sailing maybe introduced a new island where you could craft a new type of rune, which we could use for different spells, and you could maybe make some money there for a little while. But you know, this is eventually going to get overpopulated with bots, and then this item will be added to drop tables and stuff. It's just kind of a cycle, right? Skilling is just kind of heading downhill, but at least you can still make a little bit of money with it. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Did you get 99 rune crafting before it became really easy? I had like 90 rune crafting before the Runescape came out, and I got 99 rune crafting on this account, or on my Ironman account, and here pretty much anyways with the blood runes. So I've had it pretty chill the whole time. But you know, I just remember back in the day running those nature runes for hours and hours and hours, and I kind of miss that day of or those days where you see a rune crafting cape and it was like, that guy's rich, that guy has a lot of playtime. It's really not like that anymore. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya later.